Hey everybody, it's Pierre. Welcome back. It's been a little while since I've uploaded a video, so I thought I'd begin this new round of video uploads with an updated Fishroom tour. I haven't done a Fishroom tour since 4 years ago when I first started the channel, so I thought it would be a good way to kind of get everybody caught up in what I've done with my fish room, which isn't really a fish room, as you might know, it's my garage. Also, kind of talk about what things I've done with the tanks I have running and also the direction I want to take with the hobby moving forward. So let's check out some tanks. Okay, this is probably the shot where I can get as many of my tanks in frame as possible. As you can see, the tanks are not arranged very well. There's a reason for that that I'll explain sometime. But they are all located in a part of the garage that's kind of extended from one of the car parking areas, which is this area. And as you can see, I'm not able to park my car in here anymore because there's exercise equipment and storage and stuff. So it is a two-car garage, but we only have one of our cars parked in here. Anyway, let's get started. On the floor here are a couple of pieces of driftwood that I anchored to some slate to prevent them from floating. And I spent all day yesterday actually drilling holes in this rock and screwing it in to the bottom of this driftwood. So I'm hoping to put them in one of the tanks, and I'm hoping that it works and looks nice. Okay, so first tank we're going to look at is a 75-gallon tank, and it is one of two tanks that I originally had connected together, plumbed together, and filtered by this 40-gallon breeder sump. Now at one point, I just stopped using the sump. I don't even remember why, but I'm gonna show you the back of this tank system. So 75, 75, and there's overflows in the back that are attached to this wooden frame that drain to the tank down below, and then this whole thing drains into the sump. And the pump in that sump pumps the water back up here. So it's when it was working as a single system, it was actually 190 gallons more or less of water. But right now I'm just using each tank individually and filtering them with sponge filters. The upper tank has 3 black mollies. They're a breeding trio, and there's a bunch of fry in here somewhere, I think. And that's really all I have in here. I got some just plants that aren't looking very healthy. I got some fake plants there for the fry to hide in. I don't really know what I'm going to do with this tank yet. As you can see, it needs cleaning, it needs vacuuming. There's some fry back there. A little fry back there. Hey guys. There's some Siswasser tang in here. There's some shrimp culls in here. So basically the shrimp from my other tanks that don't really look the best, in my opinion, they wind up in here to live out their lives. I also have some assassin snails in here, which have really taken off nicely for me. So just the molly tank up here, 75-gallon molly tank with plants. Tank number 2 is another 75-gallon aquarium, filtered with sponge filter. Really dirty, as you can see. Needs cleaning, needs water change. And it only has one occupant, which is this rainbow wolffish. He's about 9 or 10 inches long. He is an adult at this point. And I used to have him in with my bikers and my datnoid, but I put him in here just to kind of keep the cycle going. He does poop quite a bit. So he is a predatory fish. He will eat smaller tank mates. Very nice colors. I've had this fish since he was a juvenile. If you look at some of my other videos, I have some footage of this guy when he was young, when I just got him. Now he's full grown. I've got just some rocks in here and some fake driftwood. No plants in this one. So just the single specimen, I should say, aquarium. All right. This stand, if you'll notice, is actually made of cinder block or cement block. These are cement blocks from Home Depot that I painted black, and each tank sits on a wooden frame that I built out of 2x4s, some foam, and some OSB So it's a really cheap way to build a stand that is super strong. And I raised the lower tank a little bit off the ground so I have storage space underneath for buckets and stuff. Now going over to the sump that I had running, it is a multi-stage freshwater sump. And all the water coming from both tanks goes in there, gets filtered through the sponge, through this chamber. I got some ceramic filter media there, and then the heater and the pump were here, which brought the water up to this top aquarium. Now from the top aquarium, it flows down these overflows into this tank, which also then flows down those overflows into that sump. All right, the next tank we're going to look at is an empty one. It's a 20-gallon long, all the way up here on this 3-level stand. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this tank just yet. If you have any ideas, let me know in the comments. The middle tank is a planted tank, a little bit dirty as you can see. It's got an Amazon sword, some driftwood, and some Wasser tang, filtered by a simple sponge filter, and a little heater over there. In this tank I have crystal red shrimp. And then I have this plant, I believe this is, I forgot the name of this plant, but it's a really pretty plant. It has like a reddish tinge to it, very easy to grow. Some of the leaves look like they're not doing well. I also have a whole bunch of seed shrimp in here, as you can see. Probably a symptom of overfeeding, just a bunch of seed shrimp. So once in a while, I'll put one of the mollies in here to clean up and then take them back out. And the seed shrimp just bounce right back, which is surprising because I only feed this tank, believe it or not, like once a week. I know there's a lot of mulm on the gravel. I have to change the water. Okay, and then the bottom tank is also planted. I've got some crypts in here, just some easy to grow plants. Got some dragonstone and stuff. Also has a bunch of shrimp in it. But in here I have crystal reds, which are actually breeding better than the exclusive crystal red tank above it. Got a ghost shrimp back there. I also have cherries in here, cherry shrimp. And I have got just some random fish in here like Otocinclus and some coolie loaches, silver and black, and striped coolies that I never see. But every time I do a water change, you know, they just come out and start swimming up to the surface and back down like coolie loaches like to do, and that tells me that they're still alive. So again, more shrimp. This door leads to the great outdoors, the backyard here in Washington. It's raining and cold, so I'm going to go back inside. So when I do water changes, drain the water into this pipe, which drains into this other pipe that goes through the wall and out there. And I take the cap off and let the water just kind of run downhill here, which helps the lushness of the greenery here. All right, let's go back inside to some warmth. Here's my water change stuff, just some hoses. Okay, now let's look at this next aquarium system here. And I like to use systems because they do run as a unit. So this is a 120-gallon empty aquarium. Let's turn on the light here. It used to have my red belly pacu, but now it's empty. The pacu went to someone who was taking better care of it than I could. And last I heard, he was doing really well. Here's a picture of him, Pacu Mari, in a big tank. And the guy apparently has plans to put him in a 300 once he gets too big, and eventually a 500. So he's in a better place. But anyway, the water in this tank overflows, so I drilled this tank. As you can see, not very well. I chipped it, so I had to patch it. But it goes through these two overflows here, down into this aquarium. So water from here goes down to here, into this 55-gallon planted aquarium that has planted tank substrate, a bunch of plants in it like Anubias, and some crypts back there, a moss ball, some mini swords. I really don't know what these are. If you know what these are, let me know. Would appreciate it very much. And it just kind of let them run wild here. But then whatever water comes from that tank goes in here. The nitrates get absorbed by these, and then I also have shrimp in here. And then all that water gets filtered once more by this foam Matten filter. I'm a big fan of Matten filters. Very efficient and easy way of filtering, very cheap. Now, this water, once again, goes down these two overflows into this tank, which is a 20-gallon standard size aquarium, which contains heater, pump, and the water in here goes up here and back into the 120. So it's an enclosed system of 3 tanks with a total water volume of 195 gallons. And it's sitting on this pretty sturdy desk that I got for $25, believe it or not, at a yard sale, which I reinforced with some uprights here, just so it can hold the weight of the tanks. I wanted to show you a little bonus footage here. As you know, I live in Washington State, which is the land of spiders. And I've got a mama spider here between the 2 drains of my 120, and some spiderlings. These little baby spiders back here. Super cute guys. Hello. So just leave her alone, and spiders are beneficial. I like them and might. All right, and then let's move on to these tanks. Again, a pair of 75-gallon tanks. Top one is a sparsely planted tank. A lot of it is rocks. Big piece of wood there. And there's this big fake rock that I got. It's a landscape rock, actually, that you can use to hide like electrical boxes and stuff in your yard. I drilled a couple of holes in the top so it wouldn't float, but it's there. And the reason that the water level is low is actually because the pump is turned off. Now let me turn it on, and you'll see what I've done with this aquarium. So this is my hill stream or river tank, 75 gallons. I made a manifold up here, or a spray bar I should say, that sprays the water onto the surface and agitates it, just like a stream or river. And the pump is a 1,000 gallon per hour pump. And all of this water flows through here and into this overflow that I made. It's a sequential overflow, so that when the water flow overwhelms this one, it goes to the next one, and then there's the top one up there. And all that water goes down to here. So going back to this tank, this actually is a hill stream tank, and in here I have hill stream loaches and pandagara. Those are fish that are accustomed in nature to living in this type of environment. If you look closely, there's actually one underneath this piece of wood right there. He's hard to see. Trust me, he's there. Now, people will tell you that these fish don't really need fast flow. They'll do just fine in a regular aquarium. But if you think about it, and if you look at their shape, actually, they're very hydrodynamic, and they are really designed to hold on to rocks and wood in fast-flowing currents. So you really wouldn't be doing them a disservice by providing this type of environment for them. Will they breed in a regular aquarium with other fish? Yeah, sure. But I just chose to do this just to kind of replicate more closely what these fish have in nature. I mean, just look at these guys. Look at how they're shaped. They're very streamlined and hydrodynamic. They evolved this way. I've also got some Amano shrimp in here, a male and a female, and some white cloud minnows. And then down below is another 75 gallon, which contains the pump and a little heater, and also a matin filter here. Large surface area for beneficial bacteria. And in this tank I have some dojo loaches, very friendly fish, I think, and a shabunkin. I've had these loaches, a couple of these loaches I've had for like 3 or 4 years. Just nibble on my finger right there. These guys have gotten really big. They do get fat really easily if you feed them too much. So I try to feed them like twice or thrice a week. They do have a lot of energy. So, you know, they can burn off really whatever you give them, and they'll really eat anything. They don't really care what you feed them too much. This guy's playing with me here. All right. Then, over here I have a 10-gallon tank that I set up recently. It's just got some basic rocks and wood and plants. I do have some cherry shrimp in here as well, and I'm trying to put all of my vibrantly colored shrimp in here and make a really deep red shrimp colony, maybe, hopefully. Sponge filter, heater, basic stuff. I also want to show you this utility sink that I had put in here, which is really convenient for water changes. I can drain the water, for example, from this aquarium directly into this sink for water changes. And this, I drilled a hole in this tank a little lower than halfway down, which has a strainer. And when I open this valve, all the water just kind of flows out directly into the sink and the drain. And then I just fill it back up with this hose. Super convenient. So if you have a sink nearby, wherever you have your fish tanks, it'll really make your life a lot easier. Finally, I want to show you my biggest aquarium, which is my 210-gallon biker tank. I know it's biker, Bashir. Call it whatever you want, it's fine. I like to call them bikers. But I have mostly fully grown bikers in here. It is a 6-foot tank. It's on a stand that I built because the stand it came with, unfortunately, was really substandard. I don't have plants in here. I have red garnet substrate. And these guys mostly just lay on the bottom, but they do get active from time to time when they're hungry. They're really interesting fish, super ancient. Got my ornate back there. That's my biggest one, most likely. It's about 17 or 18 inches. Above him is my weak CI, or fathead biker. Got a PBB down there. This is a Colaton lap. These are about a foot long. This is a Farana lap. I've also got a datnoid in here who's a little shy right now. He's about 14 inches. I got him when he was 3 inches. I've also got a leopard bushfish in here. So just big, bigger fish in this tank. I feed them pellets. And then all the water in here flows down into this 55-gallon aquarium below, which is home to a jaguar catfish. You can see a little bit of his tail peeking out of this PVC elbow. I also have a male bristlenose placostomus in here. He's probably in that cave. I also have some shrimp in here and some Java fern and some Swasser tang. I also have some South American bumblebee catfish in here. So all this water from the upper tank and all the poop and waste flow through here, through this matin filter, and pumped up back into the main tank. Additionally, I have a Fluval FX6 that's filtering it just to kind of help with the bio load of these fish. And so that is it. I just wanted to catch you up. I know it's a long video, I apologize. And also kind of lay the groundwork for any future projects and things that I have planned. All right, have a good day, and go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time.